What's up, guys? Hi. So today I'm going to be talking about something I feel like is important to you guys. I mean, well, it's important to me because I kind of just want people to know about my life, and I think that a lot of people misconstrue a lot of what goes on in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and especially in North Tulsa. So I'm here to elaborate on some of those things. Guys, there's a dog rolling in the street. What are you doing, man? What are you doing, dude? He's cute as hell, though. There's a lot of stray dogs out here. Anyway, I've basically lived in North Tulsa all my life, and so many people have so many bad things to say about North Tulsa, calling the fact that it's completely barren. A lot of people don't get to experience and do as much as people in south side of Tulsa or the people in west side of Tulsa. I mean, or even east. Like, it's very crazy. I think the main thing is that people don't understand that North Tulsa was such a productive place a long time ago, back in, I don't know, around, it was a while back. A long time ago, a very long time ago, a lot of black families, and not only black families, but there were a lot of black companies, and then when I say black, I mean black people. There were a lot of black-owned companies, there were a lot of black-owned things, because otherwise black people couldn't freely go somewhere and do anything that they wanted, and just be so happy and open with who they are. This was called Greenwood. This is what the community was called a long time ago. It was called Greenwood. And then when the Tulsa race riots began, a lot of Greenwood got burned down. And I don't know why my fan stopped. It's really hot in here. Hold on. Sorry about that. But it was called Greenwood. And okay, now it's too fast. What? A long time ago, the black community was called Greenwood, and it was a thriving company. And what I'm saying is that it just completely depleted in North Tulsa, and things just went so south from there. Now, North Tulsa is very barren. There's a lot of like trash lying around, and people just naturally assume because of those things that this place isn't a place where people are strong, and a place where people appreciate each other, and a place where people love each other. People talk about killings and drugs and everything, but to be honest, the entire world goes through that. Places that aren't even in Tulsa have this happening to them. And I don't think it's really fair that people just naturally assume that North Tulsa is a terrible and horrible place. I've seen memes about North Tulsa. I've seen so much. People just think it's like a ghetto. Like, literally, people think it's a ghetto. Like, and when I say ghetto, I don't mean like people, oh, bitch, you ratchet. No, I don't mean that. I mean ghetto as in like concentration camps or back in Jewish Holocaust days. I mean that, and I mean that in that sense of ghetto. I mean that in that sense. And people feel and think that North Tulsa is just this small and tiny place where nobody has any liberation, and nobody can be free, and nobody can freely say what they want or do what they want. And I think that is so bad, because if people would gather together and be who they are and say what they want, and give back to the community that they lived in, that they've been in their entire lives in this community, this place would be such a bigger and better place than it is now. But there are a lot of people that are building. I'm sorry, I'm looking at you now. I wasn't looking at you before. I was looking at myself. But there are places now there are people now trying to bring back grocery stores, because we don't have a grocery store. The only grocery store we have is Warehouse Market, and Warehouse Market doesn't have, like, I'm not gonna say that it isn't the best place to buy groceries, but it isn't as great as somewhere as going to like Reese's or like, you know, it's not as great as that. We have a place called Gateway that was open for a little while when it first began, when a place that was a grocery store called Albertsons had closed down. Gateway had opened, and when Gateway opened, it was a very big thriving thing, and there were like, they had all of the aisles open. It's a very big store still, and they sold clothes even there. They sold hats and all this, and then after a while, a majority of the store had shut down. And so now when people go into the store, it's only like a small little section of what you can get and what's in the store and what contents are in the store. And that just really breaks my heart that we don't have as many resources and we don't have as many things in North Tulsa as there could be. I feel like if we had more things in North Tulsa, such as places to go, things to do, places to meet up, places to just be, and I feel like it would be such a better community and a better place, and people wouldn't think of it as such this low depleting thing that it sort of is right now at this point. I'm going to talk to you guys about my childhood in North Tulsa. A long time ago, I grew up right near Emerson Elementary, which is torn down, and I'll make a vlog about that later, but I would like to tell you guys, it's tore down, and but growing up near Emerson Elementary, I grew up on the street is called North Denver Avenue. I still love that house. The house is for rent, and I want to see how much it is because I love that place so much. I grew up there from the age from being born on to the age of 10 till about 10. And when I was in North Tulsa, things weren't terrible, things weren't bad. I honestly loved my childhood. I loved a majority of my childhood. No, I'm sorry, I scratched that. I loved all my childhood. When I was very young, I just felt so free, and I felt as if no one needed to tell me anything or tell me how to be a certain way or do a certain thing in order to be happy. I was happy just playing with my cousins and with my brother and with my friends down the street. I was happy going to school. I was happy participating in things that were around my neighborhood. I was happy just riding my bike up and down the street and going down all the way down to the end of my street and talking to somebody that we used to call grandpa that we weren't even related to. They were just our down the street neighbors. And I feel like that my childhood, we didn't have everything that we always wanted, but we always had enough. And if we didn't have enough, we always were strong together. And I think that is the best thing about North Tulsa is, even though that this place is one of the places where not a lot of things happen for people, it's a place where there's a lot of strength and there's a lot of heart, and the people that do kind of put back, or the people that have lived here and experienced this and know what I'm talking about, they make this place such a better place, and it makes me happy. But at the same time, when you see the position that we're in now, it kind of makes me sad. But when I was growing up, I promise you, my life was just so fulfilling. Even though I didn't have everything that I wanted, like I didn't have a bike until I was about 8. But my mom and I lived with my mom and my aunt, 2 of my cousins, and I lived with my brother from the time being until I was about 8 years old. And we always had fun. We always loved each other. We played games in the house. We didn't really, it wasn't that we needed so many things. We had our imaginations and we had each other. And I think that is what really counts in a sense. And to be honest, when I think about it and all those things, my childhood made me who I am today. It made me the innovative person and the tenacious person that I am to this day. And I just want people to know that North Tulsa is not this tragic place to be in, or this horrible place to live. It's really not. And now that I'm living here again, and I just look around and I see how quiet it is, and I literally, when I wake up sometime, for a majority of the time, when I wake up in the morning, I'll wake up at around 9:45, I'll go outside and I'll just sit and I'll drink my coffee, because I can. It's that simple. It's that easy. I could just go outside and just enjoy myself, and I don't need all these little. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't need all these little things that what are they called? I don't need momentums. I need sentiments, and I think that is what's important to me, and I think that is what's important to a majority of people. You start to learn certain things at a young age that normally people in South Tulsa or East Tulsa don't normally learn, and even though those experiences are all great experiences, they're experiences that you value and that you take with you for the rest of your life. Sometimes people would just believe and think that their advantages and their disadvantages in life can hinder them and break them, but really it can make them stronger, and I think people need to know that. And I just wanted to tell you guys that North Tulsa wasn't the place that North Tulsa was not the place that it is today. North Tulsa won't be the place that it is today in the future, and North Tulsa is bigger and better when you are strengthening your community and you are in the community. You realize how strong and how innovative people can be and who they are. I think a lot of people feel as though that they can experience and put back things, and they never lived here. They don't understand things. They haven't experienced things as such as we have. When I went to McLean High School, a lot of people that thought that McLean was this terrible and horrible high school. I went to McLean for 2 years. And I still love the high school to this day, even though that I dropped out. I still love his high school to this day. And I went to a different high school for a part of my junior year, and I didn't like it as much as I liked McLean. Even though because McLean, when I went to McLean as a freshman, it was the best year of my life. And I mean that literally. I felt as though I could say and do as I wanted. We learned about things that actually concerned us, and we were told things that were reality of who we are as people, as a unit. And I mean now that I'm saying we, I mean black people. And even though some students were very outspoken, and sometimes a majority of the time they were rude, and people aren't like this in other schools, it just made me happy to know that people could still succeed regardless of their background or regardless of their upbringing, and when they do succeed, they succeed beyond expectations, and I think that it's exceptional. So going to McLean wasn't a horrible experience. It was actually an illuminating experience, and it helped me, and it just made me a better person than what I was before. And I think that people misjudge McLean because the school has so much heart and so much love, and even though there are kids that are rude, they have these experiences in life that just make them different, and I think that overall helps them be better than who they are. And I just want you guys to know, North Tulsa is my home, and it always will be. Regardless of where I go or where I move, this will always be my home. I've always loved North Tulsa, and I will always love North Tulsa. I will always have love for North Tulsa. I will never talk down about North Tulsa. If I talk down about anything, it's just gonna be people. Period. It's gonna be people and the things that they do. It's not gonna be the place in any sort of sense, because I love it here, and I just feel like people should know that. Okay, I'm getting awkward.
Fire when the storm hits you.
That's it, friend? Yes.
I love you guys so much. Bye.